So I just wanted to share results from a typical campaign that we did previously with our YouTube ads agency, where we were spending about like ten to $25,000 a month with YouTube ads to a high ticket funnel. This is a $4,500 offer where they're coming through to a free webinar or VSL, and then there's an appointment setting process where they book a call with the team, sales team. And just to show you the numbers that we got here, during just 1 month. Now, this is pretty typical. Every month was ranging between $50,000 and $120,000 in sales. This month, we can zoom in a little bit more. For example, we spent $1,200 or $12,000, sorry, and that's about 870 leads, 189 applications. So these are pretty typical conversions across the board, 27% conversions. Could be a little bit higher, could be 30, 35% would be better for sure. So basically the cost per lead is about $14, pretty high. It's on the higher end of most of our campaigns. And for applications, about $60, which is pretty average, I would say, across the board. Financially qualified, meaning they might have the money that they said yes to in the application process. So it costs about $150 to get a application and someone to speak to them and go through the setter qualification process. Well, got about 50. So $12,000 in ad spend. We got 50 people that are qualified. 36 people have a sales call and 23 close at 64%, which will give us in total sales for that month is actually $103,000 actual collected revenues, by the way. So yeah, that's essentially the breakdown of one example of doing a high ticket offer when you're doing a sales team. It's a lot of numbers, like decent spend, and not so many sales calls. So the secret here is the sales calls must be converting at a decent clip. And if you've done the qualification process right, and people are coming on with money and they're willing to do the work, and you have a decent salesperson, you should be closing over 50%. And that will give you a nice profitable uh, funnel. So if you're closing at less than 20%, probably I would switch over to an automated webinar or a live webinar until you can fix the closing rate. So these are the numbers that usually are pretty typical, about 30% on the opt-ins, about $150 on a financially qualified application, and about $250 to get somebody on the phone, set a setter to qualify and book them for the sales appointment. And then maybe 70% of those sales appointments show up, 30% do not. So you can see this is 69%. That means that 31% did not show up to their sales call, essentially. That's a pretty good breakdown. And in this campaign, we're not using Facebook ads at all. This is only YouTube only, and this is only in one country specific for this offer. So you can see here, we have this data for 2 years, and they all pretty much look like this. So if you're having trouble scaling up your offer, make sure to look at your numbers to see they look anything like this if you're doing a sales offer. If you're doing an automated webinar, of course, it's a little bit different, but opt-ins probably going to be a little cheaper. We've had opt-ins from $3 to $20 in general, and applications or sales calls from $50 to $250. So should be in those types of ranges and these types of conversion numbers. The biggest one I've seen is sales, like the conversion numbers on the sales calls. It's going to make a huge difference, obviously. When you have 36 potential sales calls, you're going to close around half of them to make the offer really profitable. So as you can see here, we spent $12,000 to make $103,000. So this is one of the better months that we had. And was that ROI actual is actually over 850%. And that's a lot of it because the sales team has done their job. Of course, I've done my job as far as doing the YouTube ads in the correct way, following a script, following a process, and delivering ads to the right audience. So that we can do for you. And if you are having decent numbers on your sales calls right now, you're just looking to scale up your offer and the offer is proven, then you want to contact me and we'll scale up your offer and we'll start doing like $2,000 or $5,000 as a YouTube ads test, and then start scaling to $10,000 and $25,000 per month and getting you another 30 to 60 sales appointments for your offer, or just a lot more people for your automated webinar or live webinar.